Good morning, everybody. It's time for BitBoy Morning Show. Today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin taking a massive, massive drop. And I don't know where it's going to stop, potentially, but we might be at a balance point right now. But we'll take a look at that here in just a little bit. Hope everybody's doing good. Smash the like button on your way in, if you could, please. And let's go and get started. Quick echo, we are now back to 3.509 trillion, around 3.2% over 24 hours. You see this on big dumps. Bitcoin 58.4% and Ethereum is at 12%. Wow, Ethereum is about to tick back under 12, it looks like. There we go. Look at all the red. There's just red everywhere. That's a stable coin. You saw some green in. I've come down here all the way down to 23 to find out that actually is gained in the last 24 hours. The other token is an exchange token. The exchange token. So Whitebit also an exchange token. It's up. Cash down 4.5% for the day, still up 166.8% for the week. That'd be changing though, because it's been a while since Zcash actually pumped. It's been about a week and a half. So Bitcoin coming in at $102,691. I actually had a long. I thought maybe the dip was over. And I thought the dip was over. It might. Okay. Here we are. We're back. How long was I gone? I didn't realize I was gone. Bitcoin's sharp drop from 112,000 to below 106,000 on Monday triggered one of the largest liquidation waves in weeks. We know that's down to under 103 now. Data from CoinGlass shows long traders accounted for nearly 90% of the total liquidations, more than 1.14 billion in bullish bets. He raised as prices fell from weekend highs. Shorts made up just 128 million of the total. Oh my God. I've been gone the whole time. Man. I was out for 10 minutes. Huh. Okay. Liquidations occur when traders using borrowed funds are forced to close their positions because the margin falls below required levels. On crypto futures exchanges, this process is automatic. Large clusters of long liquidations can signal capitulation in short-term bottoms, while heavy short wipeouts may precede local tops and momentum flips. Traders also keep track of where liquidation levels are concentrated, helping identify zones of forced activity that can act as near-term support or resistance. Single biggest liquidation occurred on HTX, where 33.95 million Bitcoin long was closed out. Hyperliquid led all platforms in overall activity, registering 374 million in forced closures, 98% of those being longs, followed by Bybit at 315 million and Binance at 250 million. How is Hyperliquid already that much bigger than Bybit? Doesn't make sense. How did it do it this fast? Flush came after Bitcoin's latest rejection above 113,000 in the mid-thin order books across perpetual venues, major perpetual venues, amplifying price swings as cascading liquidations hit during low liquidity hours. Such events usually mark short-term clearing moments in overheated markets. Still, with open interest near $30 billion in funding rates easing only slightly, traders appear wary of further volatility ahead of the Fed rates decision. I don't know why it says this week. I don't know what it's talking about. I'm not sure. Okay. Here's a quick look at the Fed Watch. It's up to 71.1%. It was, I think it's 69% yesterday. Let's see where it was yesterday. 66.8% yesterday. So we're doing pretty good. Looks like we're hopefully going to get that rate cut. And we just need it to be priced in at some point. Gold keeps climbing. Bitcoin drops below 104K. Where's smart money heading in 2026? Gold has continued to surge in price as we head towards the beginning of 2008. Market opinion is split on whether gold or Bitcoin will be the winner entering the new year. The global precious metals market is extending its record-setting rally as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies continue to lose momentum. As we approach the end of 2025, the widening gap between digital and tangible assets is prompting investors, analysts to ask where they should take refuge in for the new year. Gold traded above $4,000 per ounce. Silver followed suit, climbing in nearly $49 per ounce. The rally in metals reflects investor anxiety over political and fiscal uncertainty, coupled with expectations of slower monetary easing by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Central Bank's 25 basis point rate cut on October 29th helped underpin the gains, but Jerome Powell's comments added a note of volatility. Central banks have also been major buyers of gold throughout 2025, expanding reserves and fueling structural demand. The crypto market has diverged from gold's performance, sharply diverged. Bitcoin's dropped now probably 25% almost from its all-time high, trading just below 103,000 now. Technical indicators suggest continued weakness, with analysts warning that a decisive close below key support at 106,500 could trigger a deeper correction, potentially targeting the $85,000 and $94,000 range. According to CCN analyst Valjean Tahiri, the overall crypto market has fallen below support levels, signaling the start of a potential long-term correction phase. Altcoins have steeper declines. Total crypto market capitalization dropping to $3.5 trillion, down 20% from its peak. Let's see. In a recent exposed long-time gold advocate, Peter Schiff, noted that Bitcoin has fallen 32% against gold since August, calling it the beginning of a brutal bear market for digital assets. As usual, he urged investors to rotate into gold to preserve capital. Gold's outperformance over Bitcoin was a no-brainer, arguing that the metal would rally compared with Bitcoin leaves loads out which asset has the upper hand. But here's the important thing, guys. The important thing is people are now seeing this as a battle between gold and Bitcoin. These were things we talked about as were fantasies 5 or 10 years ago. He added that the sentiment gap between the two assets reflects their different risk profiles. While Bitcoin investors are used to outsized returns because of the higher perceived risk of holding BTC, gold investors are the opposite. Because of its lower risk, even a slight underperformance by gold relative to Bitcoin can be seen as positive. So there you go. Why does gold get a six-pack and a backpack? Why is he wearing a backpack while he's fighting? Guys, somebody needs to tell the referee this is not right. Something's wrong here. And why does Bitcoin have a few hairs up here? That's all he's got, a few hairs. Anyways. Bitcoin said to revolutionize U.S. agriculture. I know you guys are going to be thrilled about this story. Basically, the long and the short of it is there's a lot of farmers that are bullish on Bitcoin. They believe that in the future, Bitcoin will be how they do transactions. It's such a long article. I'm not going to read it to you guys, but the people at the top of agriculture and power, the CEOs, big-time commodity traders, and agribusiness are looking at Bitcoin as a hedge against dollar debasement. He continues, again, it's coming fast. Why farming? Why, you may not know this, but digital assets actually falls under agriculture and the government. So maybe somebody figured that out. I guess the SEC and the CFTC maybe fall under the Department of Agriculture, potentially. But it's a really fascinating article. You guys can find it yourselves and read the whole thing. We don't have time to do the whole thing here, but 5, 10, or 15 years, it's going to completely change agriculture's game. Everything is changing. Everything is going to change because of Bitcoin and crypto. So here's what Michael Saylor said about the year-end target. Bitcoin would reach $150,000 by year-end, according to MicroStrategy chair Michael Saylor. Our expectation right now is end of the year, Bitcoin should be about $150,000. It'll grind up to $1 million in the next 4 to 8 years and eventually $20 million a coin. That's crazy. Saylor cited the growing acceptance of Bitcoin in the broader cryptocurrency industry by big banks as a major reason for his bullishness. Banks such as JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup would introduce Bitcoin and digital assets to the next billion people, he said. He added that he saw their involvement in the space leading to a tenfold increase in the market size. Another factor Saylor considered to be bullish for Bitcoin is the adoption of so-called artificial intelligence agents by financial institutions. He told CNBC that all these AI agents would need faster rails than what traditional finance could offer, leading to a greater adoption of blockchain technology. He said in the digital economy, stablecoins would be the preferred medium of exchange and Bitcoin would be the preferred store of value. I just really don't think the industry could ask for much more, Saylor said. Saylor's year-end Bitcoin target aligns with the continued bullishness of several analysts. BitWise's investment chief Matt Hogan, for example, said last week Bitcoin will reach new highs before the year-end runs out. A lot of smart people saying that. So, trying to catch along at some point. Whew. Crypto news. Hong Kong crypto giant Animoca Brands plans 2026 NASDAQ listing. Animoca Brands announced its planning U.S. listing on Monday. Crypto investor from Hong Kong will become a public company in a reverse merger. Transaction is between the NASDAQ-listed Currency Group, Inc. This move is expected to be closed in 2026. Such a deal represents a huge return to the public market. Under the deal, Animoca shareholders will hold 95% of the new entity. At the same time, Currency Group will wind down its current operations because the traditional IPO process is bypassed in this reverse merger. As a result, it's a quicker path to the NASDAQ. Existing investors are SoftBank and Kingsway Capital. Further, this listing comes from its 2020 delisting from the ASE. Australian Securities Exchange was unhappy about breaches of the listing rules. Some of these issues were directly related to its crypto dealings. Now, Animoca is following other companies that are jumping into the public sector. For example, Circle, the issuer of USDC, is the most notable recent example. In summary, Animoca Brands is positioning for great things. The currency partnership will be leveraged in the NASDAQ listing in 2026. Hopes to bring the altcoin economy to the attention of global investors. This two-pronged strategy cements Animoca's position in the Web3 industry. As a result, the deal is a major market development. Bitcoin price prediction. Wall Street veteran sees new all-time highs by end of the year. This would be Michael Saylor's Ethereum version, Tom Lee. Tom Lee backs recovery as BitMine expands $12.5 billion Ethereum holdings. Lee, who also serves as chairman of the BitMine Emergence Technology, sees the current correction as a healthy reset following last week's volatility. The market is consolidating, he explained. Ethereum and Bitcoin fundamentals are stronger than ever. Stablecoin volumes are surging, and blockchain revenues are at record levels. BitMine's aggressive expansion backs his optimism. The firm recently added 82,353 ETH, worth over $294 million, bringing its total Ethereum holdings to 3.39 million ETH, or 2.8% of Ethereum circulating supply. At current prices, that's near $12.5 billion, making BitMine one of the largest institutional crypto holders. Lee predicts Bitcoin could rally toward 150 to 200,000, while Ethereum might climb to $7,000, fueled by institutional adoption and renewed capital inflows into crypto infrastructure. Dip buying or more downside? That's what we're looking at now. Traders could sell the retest around 106, 103,000. It's already done that. Targets near $103,000 to $500. This is where we're at right now. We're in this range. We're in this range right here. Buying confirmation of a bullish engulfing candle above 108,000, support by rising volume for potential recovery towards 111,000. So there you go. Standard Chartered CEO expects blockchain to eventually power nearly all global transactions. Bill Winters, the chief executive officer of Standard Chartered, a bank, international bank, sees a future where nearly all global transactions are conducted on a digital blockchain ledger. He told a crowd in Hong Kong on Monday as crypto adoption amongst mainstream banking and institution grows. Our belief, which I think is shared by the leadership of Hong Kong, is that pretty much all transactions will settle on blockchains eventually and that all money will be digital. The UK-based multinational bank CEO said in a panel at Hong Kong FinTech Week. Think about what this means. A complete rewiring of the financial system. Adding the experimentation is required to determine what rewiring looks like. Winters made the comment while discussing Hong Kong's role in the global digital asset space. crediting the state for leadership on experimentation and regulation, along with the Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan. Hong Kong has been working to establish itself as a regional crypto hub through a digital licensing regime. They're planning on taking part in tokenized assets, synthetic versions of things like stocks, bonds, commodities, to make them tradable on the blockchain. Standard chartered in partnership with blockchain venture capital firm Animoca Brands, which you just looked at, and telecommunications company HKT, is planning to launch a Hong Kong dollar-backed stablecoin under a new regulatory framework the city launched in August. Robinhood Market CEO Vlad Tenev said last month tokenization was a freight train coming to most major markets in the next 5 years. Larry Fink of BlackRock said in April that every asset from stocks to bonds to real estate can be tokenized and will represent a revolution for investing. Wow. It's big, guys. It's real big. I said this 4 years ago. Probably longer than that, really. Binance CEO dismisses claims the firm boosted a Trump crypto venture ahead of CZ pardon. Binance CEO Richard Tang has dismissed claims that the cryptocurrency exchange helped boost a Trump-backed stablecoin before former CEO Changpeng Zhao also received a presidential pardon. Claim and questions relate to a $2 billion investment Binance received from Abu Dhabi state-owned investment firm MGX. The deal was settled using USD1, a stablecoin created by the Trump family's crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. MGX's investment and Binance's subsequent listing of USD1 on its exchange helped bolster the stablecoin's usage and credibility, with some lawmakers and reports suggesting this may have influenced the pardon of Zhao, commonly known as CZ. However, in a CNBC interview on Monday, Tang rejected the notion that Binance, the world's largest crypto firm, had given USD1 any preferential treatment. First of all, the usage of USD1 for transaction between MGX as a strategic investor into Binance, that was decided by MGX. We didn't partake in that decision, Tang said. You know that USD1 had already been listed on other exchanges before Binance, adding that as the largest crypto ecosystem in the world, the company regularly engages with promising new projects. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. In the case of USD1, I'm glad both parties worked it out. Tang's denial comes after the Wall Street Journal reported last week that Binance not only facilitated the settlement of MGX's investment using USD1, but also assisted in building the technology behind the stablecoin, citing anonymous sources familiar with the matter. The journal also previously noted that the World Liberty Financial greatly benefited from the listing of USD1 token on Binance in a partnership with PancakeSwap, an online marketplace for cryptos associated with Binance. Meanwhile, scrutiny of CZ's part in Binance's ties to the Trump-linked World Liberty Financial has continued to mount from opposition leaders on Capitol Hill. Among the most prominent voices have been Senator Elizabeth Warren, the banking broad, ranking member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, who has accused Binance and the Trump administration of corruption. So, in a statement last month, a vocal critic of the crypto industry said first Changpeng Zhao pleaded guilty to a criminal money laundering charge. Then he boosted one of Donald Trump's crypto ventures and lobbied for a pardon, with the president later doing his job, or doing his part, it says. So, all right, guys. I'm sorry about that little part of the show that was missing. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the show today. Make sure to hit the like button. Number one thing you can do to help out the channel. That's all we got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.